coming from St. Martin's, Dominique, I want to be honest with me. You know, I know you usually be honest with me. Yeah, Dominique. Right? Coming from St. Martin's, going to SCA, what was it like? I mean, you know, with a farm.
Well, first of all, I know exactly where you're going with this. You're
going to a heighty schooling. People are heighty. What was it like? Tell me about the journey.
Yes, of course. The children of more affluent people go to SCA. I think that is changing a bit because students are becoming more ambitious. They're doing what it takes in primary school to get into these schools. They're going to their summer classes if they sort of miss the mark. So I think that is changing a bit. But in 2010, when I started SCA, as we all know, there is a clear disparity. I think when you come from a background like mine, where I think in 2010 there was like 3 of us that got accepted, 3 or 4 of us, if that much. We had one of the largest graduating classes at that time from St. Martin's. Yeah, all the time. And so when you get to the school, you immediately recognize the disparities, right? Like, because you talk different, your swag different, the amount of money you bring for lunch different. You're just exposed to different sort of literature. So when you're engaging with your classmates, who are, I have to say, some of them are very, very kind women. They're not pretend like they're better than you. They're not, no. So I have to try to dispel some of that. Some women act like that. I know, someone they act like they're nice, but for the most part, you recognize the socioeconomic disparity immediately because you can't participate in certain things. You can't afford to go to moon clusters every day. Exactly. There's a clear difference.
And when, just to throw it out there, I don't want to throw too much of my little sister business, large up my little sister. You know she gone SCA, she graduated from SCA and everything, but the challenges going to SCA as a young dark-skinned female, right? A rough. So imagine you to go through that now. Imagine where your mother gone through back then, going to SCA.
Precisely.
Right? So, and that will lead me to ask you now, Dominique, what was the main reason why you gone there?
Because like everybody else, I didn't have the language for it at that time. I don't have the language to say this. I know that when I got at SCA, people look at you differently. So I understand, of course, there will be some sort of discrimination, some sort of stigma against me because of where I come from, my last name. I understand that the way my hair look, the way I sing, the way I talk, I get that. But I also know that when I finish with SCA, when somebody see SCA on my thing, a light bulb goes off. Oh, you finished there? Oh, this time of your grade? Oh, you graduate with honors? Yeah. So I was in it for the long haul. That's always, I am in it for the long game at all times. Never think that I did 10 steps behind, I did 20 ahead. Right. So I recognize the long game. That's why I'm going to SCA. And it has a great history of good educators. Like I would never forget Miss Phelps and Mrs. Usher and Mr. Rodriguez and Mr. Dawson, who never taught me, but still was there because he too recognized that girls from a certain place who look a certain way, who have a certain skin color, are in some ways treated a bit differently. Because I can't afford, it's a no shade, obviously. My ma can't afford to donate $20,000 to the school. Right?
I mean, and the thing is that a lot of young women, not to cut you across, Dominique, my apologies. A lot of young women, where they go there right now, mothers might kind of in the same place, where part that I want to be, but you best believe that then it top a lot of people's where mothers could do it. Well said.
Of course, because you recognize that survival is necessary.
The key.
And you recognize that you can't gallivant because you're not careful to make you repeat.
This is what I'm saying.
You have to put in the work.
I mean, the pressure there.
You have to do well.
You love to turn a diamond on that pressure there.
I know a whole lot of pressure. Like, sometimes it's unfair because you're a child still, right? It's unfair that I have to be conscious of the fact that I am poor. And poverty is violent.
It's real.
It's real and it's violent.
Yeah, true.
So, like, it's unfair that a child has to be conscious of those things, but that's the hand we've been dealt, and our job that we do the best to make sure that not only we get out of poverty, out of the clutches of poverty as much as we can, but also that the people behind we know suffer those consequences that we had to go through, right? So yeah, that kind of a long-winded answer as to why I got on that SCA.
I mean, before we move on to the next one, Dominique, for the people that would listen to this right now, what would be your advice to the young ladies that were in a SCA right now, where mothers would have, you like what you said, we're in a poverty and what's not, we want to make it out and thing. What are your advice to the young ladies then, where they're right now in other position?
My advice is to first recognize that you deserve to be there. Like there is
Definitely.
you and all of your peers, no matter who that they last name, who that they power, you like them, you got a spot at SCA. Or at any school where you may want to go to, where you think you couldn't get in, you were worthy enough. And so you have to act accordingly. You don't need nobody permission for shine. You just do it. And you find a group of friends. Like, I am so grateful to my group of friends from high school who were black girls from Southside like me. And so we were able to support each other through it. Even though I think we're kind of incompatible as friends, but we recognize that one similarity that we had to support each other because our experience is vastly different from those of the other women. And we got through and we did really well.